or sells it cheaper.
So we're going to start.
You have to speak Spanish.
No, it's in English.
We're going to start on Kuf Lamed Bais. That's Kuf Lamed Bais Amid Bais.
Rabbi Shimon.
We're starting from the last word on the line is Amar. It's about 10 lines up.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe 11 lines up, 12 lines up. Amar Rabba Bar Bar Chana, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. A very common pair. Rabba Bar Bar Chana says in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Asu lechel mi behema shleihur b'matneisah. You're not allowed to eat the meat of an animal until the gifts that are meant to be given to the kohen are removed. Just like tevel, or just like grain where the truma wasn't removed. So here also in the animal you have gifts. You're not allowed to eat it. Amar Rabba Bar Bar Chana, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Kol ha'ochel mi behema shleihur b'matneisah. Anyone that does eat from an animal that the gifts were not removed, from the flesh of an animal the gifts weren't removed, kilo eichel tevalim, as if he ate tevel. Tevel is grain that the gifts that the truma and meiser weren't taken. Comes along the Gemara and says, "V'lasil chazakavasei." We don't hold like this. If you notice, there's a Gilyan Hashas and Rabbi Kiveger on the side. He says to look in Taisus before Daf Lamed Zayin. If you remember, we had a pasuk in Yechezkel that Yechezkel was saying, "Oh, I never did this, I never did that." It's one of the things is he never ate from a korban he never ate from an animal that the gifts weren't removed. So the Gemara over there, whatever Yechezkel said, the Gemara says, "What's the big deal? That's the halacha." They had to come out with a chiddush. So Taisus asks, "He never ate from the animal; the gifts were removed." According to Rabbi Yochanan, what's the chiddush? So Taisus answers that over there was a different opinion that said a different meaning to what that pasuk meant. And Rabbi Yochanan didn't have to go according to that. Amar Rav Chizda, Matanis kuna ein nachal esel etzli. The gifts that are given to the kohen need to be eaten roasted. Ein nachal esel bechardal, and it's only eaten with mustard. My time, why is that? Amar Kra, the pasuk says lemashcha legedula. It says lemashcha. The pasuk says lemashcha, to anoint you, which means like to raise you up to a status. That means legedula, to greatness. Kederach shamalachim eichlim, just like the kings eat. So in other words, the gifts that are given to the kohen are supposed to raise the status of the kohen. That means when you eat it, you can't eat it American style with ketchup. No, you have to eat it with mustard.
Like a raham with the angels.
That's right. As we're going to see.
A deli sandwich.
Oh, a deli sandwich, okay. On rye.
Yeah,
Rav
New
Chizda says, Esrim va'arba matanis kuhuna, kol kain she'en abake behem ein neisnei matana. This is very interesting. Rav Chizda says that there are 24 gifts that are given to the kohen. And any kohen that isn't an expert in these, we don't give it to him. It's sort of like you have to pass the test. It's very interesting. The Gemara says v'lav milsi. It's not so. It's not true. He doesn't need to know all of the 24. There are other issues that need to be in place, but not his test on this. The Tanya was taught in the Brisa. Shimon Aimer. Shimon says kol kayin she'eino moed ba'avoda ein lechelik b'kahuna. Shimon says any kayin. Do you have it as Reb Shimon? Because it's mine that's abbreviated. I assume it's Reb Shimon. Shimon. Shimon says any kayin. In the Mishnah, there really is nothing else. You don't have a Shloima, Shmuel, it's really just Reb Shimon. That's the only name that you have with the Shin, I think. When you see it abbreviated, because it's abbreviated, Reish Shin. Reb Shimon says that any kohen that doesn't acknowledge the service, what the kohen needs to do, he doesn't get a portion. Rashi explains, what does it mean he doesn't acknowledge? Rashi says, he says that it's all Divrei Hevel. It's all. It's not true. What is it?
Politics?
No. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Something like that. That is bogus. It's not true.
Vanity.
Right. He says that Hashem never. If he says Hashem never commanded it, it's Moshe thought this up on his own. Today they wouldn't say that. Today they would say that it's the P. You know, the different authors of the Bible. It wasn't the
H.
It's from P. Yeah, the Holiness Code. It's the other author. So if someone would say that this is not from Hashem, so then he doesn't get a portion. He has to acknowledge the source, that it comes from God. Shenemar, as it says, Hamakar v'stam shlamim, someone that brings. This is talking about bringing the blood to bring it up to the altar. V'asachelev mibnei Aaron, and the fats from the sons of Aaron that bring this up. Loisia leishek hayamin lamana, for he gets the right thigh as the gift. Eily zebulvad. I only know that this is by the Karban Shlamim. How do I know other things as well? How do we know Minayin l'Rabbi's Chamish Esrei Avodas, that there's another 15 services that he has to acknowledge as well? Kagoin, for example, Yitzikas. Yitzikas is pouring the oil into the mincha bowl. Babalilis is mixing the oil into the flour. Bapsisis, certain carbon menaches are baked before the kmitza is done. So how do you do kmitza if it's already baked? Kmitza is the scoop. So how do you do that? You have to break it up into small pieces, and then you can do that. So that's the pieces. Vamalicha says you have to salt anything that gets put on the altar. Tenufa says you have to wave it. You would wave either like this or up or different things. Hagasha says you have to bring it close to the altar. Kmitzas we mentioned. Haktaris is the burning it on the altar. Skip the parentheses. Vamalikas, we read the brackets. Is the malika is the way the animal is
Bird.
The bird is cut with the fingernail. The kabbalis is accepting the blood. Hazais is sprinkling the blood. Vashka is saita in giving the saita to drink. Varifas eglarufin cutting the neck of this calf when a person dies on the road. Vitaras mitzaira, the purification of the mitzaira, which is this week's parsha. Nasias kapayim bein mevnim bein machutz, in doing birkas kayanim, whether in the temple or outside. How do you know that you have to acknowledge all of those as well? It says from the sons of Aaron. That means avodah hamur livnei Aaron. We're referring to the service that's for the sons of Aaron. That said that for the sons of Aaron to do. If the kayan doesn't acknowledge that comes from Hashem, then he doesn't get a portion in the gifts. What's the reason why he doesn't get a portion? It's because he didn't acknowledge. But if he does acknowledge, even though he doesn't know the laws, he still gets it. So this statement from Rav Chisda, that any kayan that doesn't know this properly doesn't get it, is not correct, because we have a brisa that says that he only has to acknowledge it. He doesn't have to. From that we understand that he doesn't have to be an expert. So you don't have to go to the chidon to get the gifts of them. The chidon was this week where they studied the Rambam. Okay. Amar Rav Abba, Amar Rav Huna, Amar Rav. Rav Abba says in the name of Rav Huna, in the name of Rav. Now, this is the wrong one. So we don't have Rav Abba here. Today what we're going to have, which is going to be important, is we have Rav. It's going to be very important. We have Rav Huna as his student. We're going to have a discussion in Taisvus regarding Rabba versus Rava. And Rabba and Rabbi Yosef are the same generation. Rav and Abaye are the same generation. Rabba is the teacher of Rav and Abaye. So right now we're starting on the top. But a statement from Rav Abba in the name of Rav Huna and the name of Rav.
Can I ask you a question before you continue? Because we just read that, like, oh, here's another one of those lists we've been going through the last few.
15.
It seems to me that this is really a tremendous chiddush, because up until now, a Kohen was just, you're a Kohen by birth, baby, and now you deserve it. You don't have to do anything. You're a Kohen. You can go up, you can get the gifts.
Right.
And this is the first time we have a qualifying statement.
Right.
It's not enough
We
to
only
be
had
born
one
a
other.
Kohen.
We had one other statement where we said that it's a mishpat. We said mishpat, that means you could take him to court if he doesn't give it to you. You said no. Mishpat meant that the court has to decide if this kohen is eligible, if he follows the Torah. You can't give it to a kohen that doesn't follow the Torah. So we did have that once before. Now we're saying, we almost said that he needs to be a scholar as well. But with that we said no, he doesn't need to be a scholar. He just needs to acknowledge that it comes from Hashem.
It's like what Rennie's saying. I think it's like it says that Kol Yisrael has a portion in Olam Haba, all of Yisrael. But then there's qualifiers that says that if a person doesn't believe in Olam Haba, doesn't believe in Tchias Mason, then he won't take part. Like Mida Keneged Vida, you don't believe in that.
That's
so
a
you're
good
not gonna
point.
get it.
That's a good point. You deny this itself. Okay. Okay. Amar Abba, Amar Rav Huna, Amar Rav Chutin Shebelechi. Asurim. There's, in the jaw, there are veins that are forbidden to eat because they contain blood. And they have to be removed. So one of the things that's a gift to the Kohen is the jaw. He says if the Kohen doesn't know how to take it out, so take out that vein, so you can't give him the gift. So the Gemara says, V'lohi. It's not so. Because Ibetavya, if he's going to roast it, so made of daivi, it's going to flow out. The blood's going to flow out.
Like liver, no?
Like liver. It would need to be cut at least, but it doesn't have to be removed. It has to flow out. V'ilak there, and if he's going to cook it, idam achatachlu, if he cuts it, umalachlu, made of daivi, it's also going to flow out.
But the jaw,
It's in the jaw, yeah.
We cook it.
They would, because they would do the whole tongue together.
Okay, right.
They would do the whole tongue and jaw together.
We do tongue in cheek.
Yeah, sure. Cheek is very good.
No, that's a joke.
The Catskills is calling. They need a.
Tongue in cheek means you don't say anything. You keep your tongue.
They need a Pesach performance. They need a Pesach performance in the Catskills.
No en el español, solamente en inglés.
Right, makes sense.
Amar, here it says Rava, and according to Taisvis, it would make sense that it's Rabbah, and according to the Bach, it's Rabbah. Let me just clarify why this is all an issue. We have a Gemara that says that Rava and Abaya come from the house of Eily. Eily's children were Eily the priest. His children were wicked. They weren't. They didn't behave properly, and there was a curse on them, and they were supposed to die young. All the descendants. So the Gemara says that Abaya and Rabbah come from the house of Eily. Abaya lived for 60 years, even though he didn't die at 18, which was and the reason is because he had Torah and Gemilas Chasadim. That extended his life. And Rabbah lived for 40 years because he had Torah. That's what the Gemara says. Now, in that Gemara, it's unclear if it's Rabbah or Rava. Because Rabbah and Rava is spelled Reish Beis, and then it's either an Aleph or a Hey, but many times the printers would just put an apostrophe or something, and you didn't know how it ended, if it's Rabbah or Rava. So, historically, or it would make sense to say that it's Rabbah. Why? Because Rava is so many times in the Gemara, many more times than Abaya. It makes sense that he lived longer, he had more time to say, but that's just like what a historian would say. The Rebbe's father had this teaching that Abaya lived for 60 years. And he says that Abaya is associated with a very high level of godliness called Makif Arachik. It's compared to the house, as opposed to Makif Akara, which is compared to the clothing. It surrounds. Rava was more the halacha. Rebbe's father wanted to learn that Gemara. He accepts the Girsa that it's Rava, and with this he says that there's only two letters that are that are makif. That are one of them is a mem and one of them is a samach. So the difference is that the samach, when you put it down, it rolls away. That's considered makif harachik. It has no isyashvas. So then he says that the mem is associated with Rava, and Rava lived for 40 years, and Rabbi is associated with the samach who lived for 60 years. Samach, mem and samach, 40 and 60. However, that doesn't fit with the way Taisvus learns here, because it's not Rava. What does that have to do with? There's other sources for this, but let's stick to the daf. Here, Amar, let's say it's Rabbah. The only problem with when you change it to Rabbah is Rabbi and Rabbi Yosef are contemporaries. So when we read this through, it doesn't fit perfectly, but Amar Rabbah, Badaklan Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef checked us. That would make more sense if it was a student. Hai kana dechatef matanta. This kayan that grabs the matanis chavuve kamachavev mitzvah, is it because he loves the mitzvah? Or is he being mizalzel? What's the word for mizalzel? Disrespect. What is it? Contempt. Disrespectful for the mitzvah. What's he doing? He's grabbing the gifts. Is it because of it looks like how much he cares about it, or is it disrespectful? Someone told this to me. They were giving out the Dvar Malchus. I went to take it. So he says the Kayanim are supposed to grab the gifts. Okay, so that's the question. So Upashtan alei, and he answered v'nasan v'lo sheyitel miyatzmai. You give it. You're not supposed to take it. Follow? You're not supposed to take it. No comparison to the Dvar Malchus, to the Chayenos. No, nothing. No. Amar Abaya says, Mireish havi chatifna matanta. Abaya says, you see, Rava and Abaya were Kayanim. They came from Eily. Or Rabba, let's say, and Abaya were Kayanim. Abaya says, originally I would grab it. Amina chavuvika machavivna mitzvah. I was beloved. It was showing my endearment for the mitzvah. However, kivan the shemanale lahad v'nasan v'leishit l'matzah. When I heard that Rabbi is his teacher. Rabbi is the teacher of Abai. When I heard that it's supposed to be given, you're not supposed to take it. Michtav lechatifna. I didn't take it anymore. I didn't grab it. Meimer Amri, I would say, Havali, give it to me.
Nice.
I would say it. There's a please in there somewhere. Kivan the shemana lahaditanya. Once I heard that it says in the Brisa, vayatu achrei abatza. This is when the people came to. What happened was Shmuel Hanavi. He put his sons in positions, but the people did not like the Shmuel sons, and they were corrupt. It says vayitu. Is it vayitu? Vayatu achrei abatza. Vayitu. They went after the money. They went after the money, and the people didn't trust them. And that's when the people approached Shmuel and said, "We need a king." And that was that whole story with Hashem told Shmuel to make them a king. And Reb Meir says that Bnei Shmuel chelkam sholu b'fiyam. They would ask for their portion because they were Leviim. Shmuel was a Levi, and so they would ask for their portion, and that wasn't correct. So Meimanami layamina. Abaya says I would stop asking. I didn't ask either. V'yavali, if they would give to me shakilna, then I would take it. If not, I went without. Even the Shemana law.
Shekelna is like a shkol, like I will think about it if they give me. No? Now I take it. I will consider it.
In Aramaic, shekelna means to take.
Okay.
Like shkol biyad, take in your hand.
Shkol was, yeah.
In Hebrew, it means different. It means to
I will consider it.
Consider?
Yeah.
Oh, because in Hebrew, shkol means to weigh. To weigh.
Can go both ways.
It
Like
also means
to
to
do
grab.
something, I shkol it. I will think about it.
But that's like.
There's two ways to say.
Right.
There's a
In
way.
Aramaic, shkol means to grab or to take.
Right. Okay.
He took, he received, he removed. Shkal is to take, receive. Okay. Kivan the Shemanala the Tani. Then when I heard this, the Bais Hatznua Moishchem Es Yadayim, that this is talking about the Lechem Apanim after Shimon HaTzadik passed away. So then it wasn't as blessing like it used to be. It used to be a big blessing in the Lechem Apanim, whoever would eat it. But then a curse went into it, and it wasn't the same. So it says that Tznuim, the people that were more pious, they would not take from the Lechem Apanim. And by Garganim, and those that were gluttonous, Cholkim, they would divide it. So when Abaya hears that, Mishkal Nami Shakilna, I stopped taking the gifts also. L'bar mimali yemik tupur, except for Erev Yom Kippur, l'achsukin nafshay bekani, so that people should remember that I'm a kohen. If he never takes any of the gifts, people won't remember that he's a kohen. So he has to do something to show that he's a kohen. The Gemara asks the obvious question: V'lifris yedesa, why doesn't he just go up to Duchen? There's no food over there. If he wants to show he's a kohen, just go up and raise his hands and do the birkas kohenim. So it says Ansile Yidne. It's two pshatim. The Rif and the Aruch learn that Ansile Yidne means that he had stomach aches and he wasn't able to Duchen. Rashi's pshat, that beautiful pshat, is that Ansile Idnei, he was pressed for time because he was always with the students, and he never was able to leave the students to be able to go up in the to Duchen.
Is it familiar to you?
Yeah, I guess he would have to turn it because they have to turn around. Maybe they covered with the talis. You can't take your eyes off there. You know they're gonna steal the shoes. Amar Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef says, "Hai kana the isli tzurva me rabbanan b'shvivusei." Rabbi Yosef says that this kohen that has a Talmud Chacham in his neighborhood, v'dechikli milsin, the Talmud Chacham is poor. He wants to give him gifts. So, lizkele matanta, afagav lias liadi. This is interesting. See, the gifts are given to the kohen. The kohen can do with it whatever he wants. Rabbi Yosef says that you don't have to. The kohen can already say where he wants it to go before he actually gets it. He can be mizaka it to someone else. So he says, if there's a kohen that wants to give to a Talmud Chacham that's not a kohen, wants to give him a gift, you could just say, without it coming into my hands, just give it directly to him. Maybe it was easier to do it like that without him getting it. And the Gemara explains that it's b'makiri kuna leviyah. We're talking about only a kohen where everyone would have wanted to give it to him anyway. So it's as if he received it already. Such a kohen, such a kohen that everyone wanted to give it to him. It's as if he got it already. That's the kohen that can give it away even before he gets it. Okay, Rava v'Rav Safra. Rava and Rav Safra ikle lebei mar yuchna breder Rav Chana barada. Va'amri la lebei mar yuchna breder Rav Chana bar business. So whatever it is, Rava and Rav Safra in the house of someone, Mar Yuchna, the son of either Bar Chana barada or the son of Rav Chana bar business. They're in Mar Yuchna's house. In the Ovid Lahu Igla Tilsa, they made for them a Igla Tilsa is either the third child from the Egel. How do they translate the Igla Tilsa in yours?
A third-born calf.
Third-born. The third-born. For some reason that was supposed to be...
They got it right. Third time's a charm.
Yeah. You know the place in the family, they have these things like... So Amalei Rava Lashame, apparently Rava... See, this is where Taisvus pipes up and says Rava's not a kohen. Rashi makes a big deal that Rava is a kohen. And nevertheless, Rava asks the shamus of this Rav Mar Yuchna, he asks the shamus to allow me to take your portion that you get from the animal because the shamus was a kohen. Now Rashi is making a big deal. If Rava himself is a kohen, why can't Rava take it himself? So Rashi says that Rava didn't want to be the one to take it because of all the things that we said before that you don't take it. So he wanted to get it as a gift from another kohen. So he tells to the shamus, Zechilan matanta. Allow me to, or gift to me the gifts that you get. Because I want to eat a tongue with mustard. And in the drawer, which is given to the kohen, chardal, is given the tongue. And the tongue with mustard is, we know already it's in the Bible. Well, it says by Avram Avinu that he served them. It doesn't say actually with mustard, but the Medrash says that it was with mustard. Okay. Zachile, he gave it to him. Rava achal, Rav Safra le'achal. Rava ate it, Rav Safra didn't eat it.
It was Pesach.
I'm sorry?
It was Pesach. Maybe.
I don't know. Is that what it says?
No. I mean by Abraham.
By Abraham it was Pesach.
Was kidneys.
Is
There were
mustard
angels, they
kidneys?
weren't eating it anyway.
No, because you don't make flour. Do we eat mustard on Pesach?
No.
We don't eat it.
We make they have the fake one.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Earlier
What's the
it says
reason?
that the chardal that it's mentioned is not really mustard. It says it's arugula.
Arugula?
Yeah.
Not Grugala.
Arugula is chametz,
No, arugula, the lettuce.
Yeah.
It tastes like
It's
horseradishy a little bit.
It's yellow and it's got like because it was a substitute for pepper during the days of Mikdash.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Akriyul or Rav Safra b'chalma. So the Akriya means that they quote him or they read to him a verse. They read to him in a dream. Rav Safra has this dream that where he gets a pasuk read to him, and the pasuk says, "Ma de beged b'yom kara." It's like someone that removes his garment on a cold day. Chaymetz al nesa, or vinegar on alum. Somehow it does some reaction. I guess it's not necessary. B'shar b'shirim alev ra, or someone that sings a song with a bad heart, or to someone that doesn't understand. That's what's being referred to here. In other words, everything that you're doing is unnecessary. That's so. Asal kami de Rabbi Yosef. Rav Safra has this dream. He's a little bit concerned. He has this dream that he did something wrong. Amalei dilma misham dabri ashmaitza demar akrin hachi. Maybe because I violated your rule. Because Rabbi Yosef was the one that said that a kohen is allowed to gift it without receiving it. He's able to gift it to someone else, and I didn't eat it. Maybe that's why it happened. Amalei. So Rabbi Yosef says, no, you were actually right. Because ki amri ana ba'acher. I said that you're allowed to do that. That's with another person, with a kohen that's not working in the house. But Shameh bal korchem azaki. But here, this was the servant. He would have to do it by force. Maybe that doesn't work. Or v'chi amri anan. When did I say this? L'man delei efsherlei. Someone that doesn't have any food, you're allowed to give it to him. But Rabbi had food. He wasn't supposed to be doing this. So in other words, Rabbi Yosef tells him that no, what you did was right. So the pasuk wasn't coming to tell you that he did something wrong. So then why? What's the reason that he gets read this pasuk? The Gemara says Klapi Rava. He was getting a message for Rava. He's referring to Rava. He's telling you, Rav Safra, that you were right. Rava was wrong. The Gemara asks for Lakarian LeRava. So why didn't they call it the Rava? Gemara says Rava Nazif Hava. I don't have my pencil here. Anyone have a pencil? Rava was. No, I'm not going to put a pen in. Rava was in Cherem. Now, there's two interpretations why Rava was in Cherem.
He was in what?
He was in Cherem. He was excommunicated. So. Rashi brings the Gemara Tainus. What happened in Tainus was that Rava punished the person for living with a non-Jewish girl. And he had him punished and the person died. He was beaten. He had him whipped or something and the person died. So Shvar Malka was the king then, wanted to punish Rava. But Shvar Malka's mother, Afra Hormuz, was a Persian queen that liked the Jews. I think she converted also. She said, she told her son, don't start up with the Jewish people. Whatever they tell the God, he listens to. He says, oh yeah, make it rain. So she sends to Rava to concentrate and make it rain. So, first, Shvar Malka says, they can even make it rain. He says, yeah, well, it rains anyway, so it happened to be. So he said, okay, well, make it rain now. It's in the month of Tammuz. It's in July. So make it rain now. It wasn't in Florida. So in that area, it doesn't rain in the summer. So he said, make it rain. So Rabbi davened and it rained. So Rabbi's father sends him a message. He says, how could you do that? I don't remember if it was like, but he says, move your bed away from where it is. So he moves his bed, or he slept in a different bed. In the morning he checked, and there were marks on the bed from a knife.
Demons, right?
Like demons or something in the middle of the night. He moved his bed. So in other words, Rava causing God to make it rain at a time that it wasn't supposed to rain, to change nature. Rava was nosaf. Means he was like he wasn't allowed in, sort of. So that's why Rava doesn't get the dream. Rashi says it was simply because of this, simply because he asked for the food. It wasn't because of that whole story of it. Amalei Abai Rav Dimi. Abai says to Rav Dimi, Upashti the krabbe maiksiv. What's the simple pshat in the pasuk? That's a pasuk in Mishlei. He takes his he takes his garment off on a cold day, or chaymetz, puts vinegar on alum. He sings a song to someone that has a bad heart, or that's heavy-hearted. So Amalei, he says, B'sheina l'talmid sheina hagan. This is referring to someone that teaches a student that's not worthy. The Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. Rav Yehuda says the name of Rav. Kol hasheina l'talmid sheina hagan. Anyone that teaches a student that's not worthy, neifel b'gehenim, falls into Gehenim. Shenemar kol cheshach taman l'tzpunav. It says all darkness is hidden for the secrets. Techleo eish le'nupach. It will be consumed by a fire that's not blown on. Yara srid ba'alai. Does it say that like sickness? What does it translate? Yara.
Sorry.
Doesn't mean to go down. A sarid goes into the tent. Ve'in sarid al talmid chacham. A sarid is a talmid chacham. Shenemar, as it says, a b'sridim asher Hashem kari, but the sridim that Hashem calls, referring to the talmid chacham. Rab Zeira Marav. Rab Zeira says the name of Rab. Kol hasheina talmid sheina hagan kazarik even l'markulas. Anyone that teaches a student that's not worthy, it's like he threw a stone at Mercury. Not the planet, the idol. The planet's going to be hard to reach. The idol was on the crossroads. They would have 2 stones, and then they put another stone on top of it. And the way that they worshipped Mercury was they would add stones to it. They would throw a stone in it. That's how they would worship it. Now it looks like, when you're throwing a stone at Mercury, it looks like Markulis in Aramaic. It looks like you're